Comparison kills financial progress. You open your phone on a random Tuesday, and suddenly it feels like everyone except you is driving a heavily financed luxury SUV, living in a downtown penthouse, and pretending to retire at 26. But here is the absolute truth about modern wealth. Social media is nothing more than a highly filtered highlight reel of consumer debt and illusion. Today, we are looking at the actual mathematical benchmarks of the American economy. And if you are watching this, there is a very high probability you are already way ahead of them. I am Tom, and my objective on this channel is simple. I want to cut through the loud financial noise, give you the hard objective data, and help you realize that building wealth is a marathon, not a sprint. We are taking a deep dive into the real numbers, pulling data straight from the Federal Reserve, the United States Census Bureau, and other established economic institutions. We are going to examine 13 specific signs that prove you are doing significantly better than the average person. I intentionally designed this entire list for honest self-assessment. I want you to keep a running tally in your head, or grab a piece of paper. Every single time you meet one of these 13 benchmarks, give yourself a point. By the end of this video, I promise you will feel profoundly different about your current financial situation. Let us build that confidence up, validate your quiet hard work, and look at the undeniable signs that you are actually winning with money. And before we hit sign number 1, if you find value in looking at the cold hard math instead of the internet hype, the best return on investment for your time right now is to hit that subscribe button. It tells the algorithm you actively want to get smarter with your money, and it helps me keep producing these data-driven deep dives for you. Let us jump right into the very first sign, which sets the foundation for absolutely everything else we will talk about today. The absolute baseline of wealth is not what kind of luxury watch you wear, but whether or not you are securely plugged into the financial system without it draining your wallet. Sign number 11 on our master list is simply being fully banked. Do you have a standard checking account, a high-yield savings account, and reliable access to traditional financial services? It sounds incredibly basic to most of us, but millions of people do not have this fundamental access. Being fully banked means you are operating safely inside the system, entirely avoiding the predatory check cashing fees and payday lenders that keep so many people trapped in poverty. Now, let us add sign number 1 to your tally. Can you comfortably cover a $400 emergency expense using cash? If your transmission starts making a strange noise tomorrow, or you need a sudden root canal, can you pay for it out of your account without going into debt or selling something you own? If you answered yes to both of these, take 2 points right now. You are already separating yourself from the pack in a major way. The math on this is incredibly sobering. According to the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, nearly 6 million households in the United States are entirely unbanked, meaning no one in the home has a basic bank account. An additional 14% are underbanked, relying heavily on expensive alternative financial services. But the most famous, and perhaps most terrifying statistic, comes from the Federal Reserve. Their annual report shows that a staggering 37% of American adults cannot cover a $400 emergency expense using cash or its equivalent. They would be forced to put it on a credit card and carry a balance, or borrow from friends. Which brings us to sign number 3. Do you have zero revolving credit card debt? Do you use a credit card for the cashback points but pay the balance in full every single month, down to the penny? If so, give yourself another massive point. Total United States credit card debt has surpassed $1.1 trillion. Experian data shows the average American carries a balance of over $6,500. Why do so many smart people fall into this exact trap? It comes down to the aggressive normalization of borrowing. We are conditioned to believe that carrying a credit card balance is just a normal part of being an adult. It is absolutely not. Credit card debt is a mathematical emergency. With average interest rates hovering around 22 to 24%, carrying a balance month to month is like trying to run a marathon while dragging a heavy parachute behind you. The system is gamified to make spending painless and paying it back incredibly difficult. If you have no revolving credit card debt, your cash flow is entirely your own. You are not working 40 hours a week just to make bank executives richer. You are keeping the money you bleed for. If you do have some credit card debt right now, but you are actively paying more than the minimum payment to systematically destroy it, you also get a point for taking back control of your psychology. Here is the exact protocol to lock in these foundational points forever. First, treat your credit card exactly like a debit card. If the cash is not sitting in your checking account at this exact second, you simply do not swipe the card. It really is that simple. Next, we need to build a defensive moat around your financial castle. If you have $400 saved, your next immediate goal is $1,000. If you have $1,000, aim for 1 full month of living expenses. Keep that money in a high-yield savings account earning 4 to 5% annual yield, so inflation does not slowly eat it alive. The average person is walking on a financial tightrope with absolutely no safety net. One gust of wind, like a flat tire or a medical bill, and they fall back into a vicious cycle of high-interest consumer debt. You, on the other hand, are buying yourself the most valuable asset in the entire world, which is peace of mind. If you think 22% credit card interest is bad, wait until you see what people are doing with their driveways. This is where the real middle-class wealth destruction happens. Let us look at your biggest lifestyle expenses. Sign number 7 is that you do not have a $700 car payment. If you drive a fully paid-off vehicle, or your monthly auto loan payment is exceptionally reasonable, like under $400, you are miles ahead of the American consumer. Now add sign number 6 to the board. Take your pre-tax monthly income and multiply it by 0.30. Is your rent or mortgage payment, including property taxes and insurance, less than that number? In other words, are your housing costs under 30% of your gross income? If you hit both of these benchmarks, add 2 more points to your tally. You are successfully avoiding the 2 largest lifestyle traps that keep high earners feeling completely broke at the end of the month. The numbers on housing and transportation are actively working against the average consumer. According to the Census Bureau and the Department of Housing and Urban Development, anyone spending more than 30% of their income on housing is officially categorized as housing cost burdened. Over 40 million United States households fall into this category, with millions spending more than half their take-home pay just to keep a roof over their heads. And then we look at the driveway. Edmunds and Experian Automotive data reveal that the average monthly payment for a brand new car in the United States has skyrocketed to over $730. Even used car payments are averaging around $520. A rapidly growing percentage of Americans now casually carry a car payment of over $1,000 a month. They are effectively paying a second mortgage just to drive to work. Car payments are the absolute destroyer of wealth, because a car is a rapidly depreciating asset. Borrowing money at 7 or 8% interest to buy something that goes down in value by 15% the second you drive it off the lot is a mathematical disaster. But people do it anyway because their ego is tied directly to their steering wheel. Housing is similar. People upgrade to a luxury apartment the second they get a small raise. Tracking these enormous cash outflows can feel incredibly overwhelming, which is exactly why I built the official Tom Talks Money Ultimate Personal Finance Dashboard. It is a premium digital template I designed specifically to calculate your exact housing burden, track your auto depreciation, and manage your debt payoff perfectly. You just plug in your numbers and it builds a custom mathematical roadmap for your wealth. You can grab that exact template using the link in the description below. If you want to stop guessing and start knowing where your money goes, that spreadsheet is your solution. The solution here is strict boundary setting on your lifestyle overhead. Housing is the single largest expense in the human budget. If you have managed to keep your housing costs below that 30% threshold, whether by having roommates, buying a modest starter home, or living in a more affordable area, you have unlocked the secret to wealth building, which is free cash flow. While everyone else is house poor, you actually have excess capital to invest. For the car, the protocol is incredibly simple. Keep driving that reliable, paid-off Honda Civic until the wheels literally fall off. Take the $700 a month you would be spending on a new luxury car payment and invest it into an S&P 500 index fund. Over 10 years, that avoided car payment will mathematically turn into over $120,000 in pure wealth. Your ego is not tied to a depreciating piece of metal, and that makes you rich. We are about to cross a major threshold. Most people stop paying attention right here, and as a result, they lose hundreds of thousands of dollars in potential future wealth. Let us measure your actual wealth engine. Sign number 2 is that your net worth is simply positive and growing. Net worth is an easy calculation. It is everything you own minus everything you owe. If your net worth is above 0, take a point. Sign number 4 is having any money saved for retirement. If you have a workplace 401k, an individual retirement account, or a pension with a balance greater than 0, give yourself another point. Finally, sign number 9. Do you own stocks, even just a little bit? If you own a fractional share of a technology company, an index fund, or have any standard brokerage account, take a point. You are officially an owner of production, not just a blind consumer. The data in this category is going to make you feel incredibly good about even your smallest investments. The Federal Reserve reports that the median net worth of all families is around $192,000. But that number is heavily skewed by age and home ownership. Millions of young adults actually have a negative net worth due to massive student loans and consumer debt. Now let us look at retirement. The Census Bureau reveals a terrifying reality. Nearly half of working-age Americans have exactly $0 saved in retirement accounts. Let that sink in. Half the people you pass in the grocery store have absolutely nothing saved for their future. Furthermore, Gallup polling shows that only about 61% of Americans own stock, and that includes their workplace retirement plans. Direct ownership of stocks outside of those plans is heavily concentrated among the top 10% of earners. The biggest psychological trap here is comparing your Chapter 2 to someone else's Chapter 20. You see someone older with a massive portfolio and you feel like you are failing. But if you are in your 20s or 30s and your net worth is simply positive, you are winning. You are officially richer than the guy driving the leased Mercedes who owes $50,000 in personal loans. Wealth is what you do not see. It is the money sitting quietly in index funds, not the loud designer clothes funded by buy now, pay later apps. The fundamental difference between the wealthy and the middle class is a shift in mindset. The middle class works tirelessly for money, and the wealthy demand that their money works tirelessly for them. When you own stocks, you transition from a pure consumer into a direct participant in the growth of the global economy. Leveling up your wealth engine requires automated consistency. First, track your net worth once a quarter. Do not obsess over the daily fluctuations of the stock market. The goal is simply to see that number trend upward year over year. Second, if you are getting your employer match on your workplace retirement account, that is step 1. Step 2 is opening a Roth IRA and attempting to max it out. Step 3 is incredibly simple. Increase your retirement contribution rate by just 1% every single year. You will barely notice the difference in your bi-weekly paycheck, but your future self will be a multi-millionaire. Stop trying to pick individual winning stocks if you do not have the hours to research them properly. Transition your strategy to broad market, low-cost index funds. Automate a weekly transfer from your checking account to your brokerage, close the app, and let compound interest do the heavy lifting. We have successfully plugged the leaks in your financial boat, but now we have to talk about the size of the shovel you are using to dig. If you ignore this next rule, inflation will quietly eat 40% of your purchasing power over the next decade. Let us look at your earning power and financial intelligence. Sign number 8 is making more than $40,480 a year as an individual. Sign number 12 is that your income is actively outpacing inflation. Did you get a real raise last year, or switch jobs for a bump in pay? If your income went up over the last 2 years, take a point. And sign number 5 is having a credit score of 715 or higher. Log into your banking app. If your FICO score starts with a 7 or an 8, you are winning the game of leverage. Add those points to your total right now. Social media will have you believing that absolutely everyone is making $250,000 a year working a remote tech job or dropshipping. It is a complete illusion. The Census Bureau tracks real median personal earnings, and the data shows the median personal income for an individual in the United States is approximately $40,480. If you earn $50,000 or $60,000 as an individual, you have a highly respectable, above-average income. But inflation has been brutal. The Bureau of Labor Statistics shows that millions of workers effectively took a massive pay cut recently because their standard 3% annual raises were completely eclipsed by 6 to 8% inflation. Meanwhile, on the credit side, Experian shows the average credit score in the country is 715. Beating these three metrics means you are surviving the current economic squeeze significantly better than most. Making money is only half the battle. Directing it is the other half. Sign number 10 is knowing exactly where your money goes because you use a budget. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau shows that roughly 65% of Americans do not use a detailed budget. They practice hope-based finances, just hoping there is still money in the account on the 30th of the month. If you track your spending, give yourself a point. You are acting like the chief financial officer of your own life. And finally, sign number 13. You are actively educating yourself about money. Are you watching this video right now? Take your final point. The Financial Industry Regulatory Authority found that only 34% of adults can pass a basic 5-question financial literacy test. Financial literacy is not taught in schools. The fact that you are proactively learning about asset allocation means you are in the top tier of responsible adults. Focus intensely on increasing your earning potential, not just cutting expenses. There is a hard floor to how much you can save, but there is absolutely no ceiling to how much you can earn. Loyalty to a massive corporation rarely pays off in the modern economy. Always keep your resume updated and check your market value every 2 years. For budgeting, try the 50-30-20 rule. 50% to needs, 30% to wants, and 20% to investing. And to accelerate your financial education, I want to invite you to click the Join button below this video and become one of the Optimizers. It is our exclusive channel membership where you get priority replies to your specific money questions in the comments, plus custom sketch badges to stand out. It is the best way to support the channel and stay directly connected as we build wealth together. Action is the cure for overthinking. Take one thing you learned today and execute it immediately. The final tally is in. How many points did you realistically get out of 13? Let us break down exactly where you stand in the grand scheme of the economy. If you got between 1 and 4 points, you are right at the very beginning of your wealth building journey. Do not get discouraged by this. You have the self-awareness to watch this video, which is step 1. Pick one specific area, like building that $400 emergency fund, and aggressively attack it this month. If you scored between 5 and 9 points, you are officially doing better than average. You have built a solid foundation. You are successfully avoiding the major traps of consumer debt, and you are building a stable life. Now it is time to optimize and accelerate your investing to reach the next level. And if you scored between 10 and 13 points, you are a certified financial rock star. You are in the top percentile of financial responsibility and on a direct mathematical trajectory to early retirement. Keep doing exactly what you are doing. Comparison really is the absolute thief of joy. Stop looking at the highly edited highlight reels on social media. The numbers do not lie, and the data is crystal clear. The average person out there is chronically stressed, severely underfunded, and actively drowning in massive auto loans and high-interest credit card debt. If you are tracking your cash flow, investing quietly for your future, and living intentionally below your means, you are winning the only financial game that actually matters. I am Tom. If you found value in this objective breakdown and want to keep building your financial ego the right way, with hard data and actionable steps, I need you to do 2 things for me. Hit that like button to help out the channel, and drop your final score out of 13 in the comments below. I treat the comment section like a peer-reviewed data set, and I genuinely want to see where my audience stands. I will see you in the next one. Keep crushing it.